Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Me channel. Guys, today we're going to answer some questions that were asked here on the channel, and I thought it would be interesting to discuss them with you. The first one is related to the video's theme. Could Usopp be a descendant of giants? We discovered that Zoro is a descendant of Ryuma. Couldn't Usopp be similar? I think this theory makes a lot of sense. If we stop and analyze it, Usopp has several unique traits within the crew. Of course, he's not a swordsman like Zoro, nor a physical monster like Sanji and Luffy, but he has something that stands out: his incredible resilience and his mysterious lineage. A lot of people have already noticed that Usopp isn't an ordinary human. In the Dressrosa arc, chapter 745, he was able to survive an attack from Hakuba, the hidden persona of Cavendish, who moves at an incredible speed and defeated several enemies in seconds. Hakuba struck Usopp, and even though he was knocked out for a while, he didn't lose his life. How could a normal person survive a blow like that? If we go further back in the Skypiea arc, chapter 300, Usopp survived a direct hit from one of the pillars of the Celestial Island, a blow that should have crushed any normal human. But he got up, not to mention what happened in Enies Lobby, chapter 421, when he was brutally beaten by Jabra and still managed to stay on his feet. I don't think these traits of resistance can necessarily be signs of giant heritage, but who am I to say? I'm not saying he's part giant, but maybe a distant descendant of a giant who mixed with humans over time. And there's another detail. Usopp is one of the few characters in the crew who has a battle mode that completely transforms him. When he enters Sogeking mode or God Usopp mode, his appearance changes, his confidence skyrockets, and somehow he always manages to accomplish amazing feats. In the Dressrosa arc, chapter 758, he managed to hit Sugar from an absurd distance, something even a normal shooter couldn't do. This reminds me a lot of the Giants, who are known for their precision with spears and projectiles in combat. Speaking of Dressrosa, who showed up in this arc? The Warriors of Elbaf, the world's most powerful warrior tribe. And who are they? Giants! The fact that Usopp is recognized as a great hero by them might not be a mere coincidence. Maybe there's something in his blood that makes the Giants feel that he's one of them. If we go back to the Little Garden arc, chapters 119 and 120, Usopp showed a huge fascination for the Giants Dory and Brogy. He was enchanted by their culture and said he wanted to go to Elbaf. Could this be just a dream of a young adventurer? Maybe. But it could also be something instinctive, something already in his blood that he didn't even notice. Another curious point is that Usopp's mother, Banchina, has almost no information about her origins. We know she was a fragile woman, but we don't know anything about her lineage. His father, Usopp, is a legendary shooter from the red-haired pirates. And who do we know is connected to the Figarland, the world government? Now, what if Usopp's mother has some connection to the giants of Elbaf? We know that not all giants are gigantic. There are half-giants in the world of One Piece, like Saul, who despite being a giant, wasn't as large as Dory and Brogy. So maybe Usopp's lineage has diluted over generations, making him human, but with some dormant giant traits. Another curious thing is his relationship with fear and overcoming it. Usopp is a natural coward, but when placed in extreme situations, he always surpasses his limits. This could be a genetic inheritance. The giants of Elbaf are extremely proud and value courage above all. Usopp, even though he's afraid, never abandons his friends and always puts himself in danger to help them. This could be an instinct inherited from the giants. And if we think about it, his incredible aim could be another clue. Giants like Hadrodent in chapter 795 demonstrate great skill with long-range attacks. The culture of Elbaf involves warriors throwing huge spears with incredible precision. Usopp doesn't use spears, but he uses his slingshot with equally incredible precision. In the Wano arc, chapter 1023, it was mentioned that some ancient lineages still live in the world, hidden or mixed among regular humans. What if Usopp is part of that? And what if we go further and connect this theory to the final saga? Elbaf will be one of the last arcs of One Piece. And who is one of the characters who most wants to visit Elbaf? Usopp. What would happen if, upon arriving there, he discovered that he has a direct connection to that place? This could be one of the biggest developments for his character. I think Usopp could be a descendant of giants. He's not as big as one of them, but he has physical traits that make him withstand attacks that would normally kill an ordinary person. He has long-range combat skills that resemble the warriors of Elbaf. He has an uncontrollable desire to go there, and the giants themselves have already recognized him as a great warrior. Maybe it's not just a coincidence. If this theory is true, Usopp could have a big role to play in the final saga, and who knows, maybe even become one of the great warriors of Elbaf he's always dreamed of being. But as always, this is just what I think. Maybe yes, maybe no, who knows? Is the Giant King's fruit similar to Nika's after all? Loki calls himself the sun god. It's hard to find something that represents the sun sun god, since when Mother Carmel put her soul into a little fire, people thought it was the sun god, so the giants don't know the true form of Nika. But we can explore this issue a bit more. Loki, the Prince of Elbaf, calls himself the sun god. But what does that mean? Is it just a title of pride, or is there something more to it? The fact that he carries this name could indicate that Elbaf has an ancient connection to the myth of Nika, but perhaps they've never seen the true wielder of the sun god's Akuma no Mi. When Mother Carmel used the Soru Soru no Mi to place her soul in a piece of fire and create the sun, the giants interpreted it as a god. This means that despite being one of the oldest civilizations in the world, they don't know the true appearance or the real history of Nika. If Loki's fruit is a mythical zone, perhaps something related to light or fire, he may have created this sun god identity based on the legends he's heard. But the fact that he declares himself a god doesn't mean his fruit is similar to Luffy's. The Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika, is a special zone fruit that awakens laughter and brings freedom. If Loki's fruit were similar, the giants of Elbaf should have already seen something like it in the past. So, I think Loki's sun god title is more symbolic than a real connection to Nika's fruit. Perhaps he has a strong Akuma no Mi, perhaps it's just Elbaf's pride, but it hardly has to do with Nika's true identity. Does Scopper Gaban really have the same level of power as the Pirate King? He's stronger than most pirates, likely at the same level as Rayleigh, but possibly not the same level as the Pirate King. This makes sense because if we stop to think about it, Roger was a monster in combat. He was able to face Whitebeard at his peak and fight on equal terms. Rayleigh is also extremely powerful, being an advanced user of the King's Haki and one of the strongest swordsmen in history. Scopper Gaban is a name that's been mentioned a few times, but we've never seen his true strength. However, considering he was part of the Pirate King's crew, he was certainly one of the strongest of his time. His level probably compares to Rayleigh's, but doesn't reach Roger's, since Roger and Rayleigh were always the main highlights of the crew. Maybe he will appear in the final saga and show a little more of his true power. Had Shanks' clan appeared before? So far, the only confirmed information is that the surname Figarland appeared in the One Piece film Red Movie, when a member of the world government mentioned that Uta, Shanks' adopted daughter, couldn't be eliminated immediately because Shanks might have a connection to the Figarland clan. What does this mean? If we follow the logic of the world of One Piece, the name Figarland could be from a noble lineage or a family with strong influence in the world government. This makes sense because Shanks was found as a baby by Roger's crew in a chest stolen from God Valley. If the Figarland clan was involved with the Celestial Dragons in God Valley, maybe Shanks is a direct descendant of them. But what makes this even more interesting is that Shanks has never shown any desire to ally with the world government. On the contrary, he acts like a free pirate, yet still has access to the Gorosei's room. This indicates that even if he has a connection to the Celestial Dragons, he followed his own path. So, up to this point, the Figarland clan may be one of the most important families in history, but we don't know exactly what their role is. Perhaps they're a royal family that had members among the Celestial Dragons, but they're not necessarily the same as them. If you have more questions, just send them. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.